back here and just kind of brainstorming some ideas of what helped me or what I did well or what I learned as far as being a part-time lawn care provider. Now, if you don't know anything about me, I purchased my first house 2 years ago. I didn't know anything about mowing the lawn, jumped online, found some YouTube creators, and kind of grew a passion for lawn care. All right, so that's a quick, short version of me. But a little bit more about me is that what caused me to buy the house is I always worked entry-level jobs, and then what allowed me to buy a house was being promoted at work. I was a team lead, assistant manager, and a manager, all within 1 year. So I got a huge promotion and a huge jump in pay, and kind of helped me build the self-confidence that I needed to start a lawn care business. Okay, I've never really been good at school. I was a little troublemaker in the beginning, earlier years, and then as soon as I found a good girl in my life, things started to make more sense, and I had meaning in my life. So definitely, you're gonna need, in order to succeed in lawn care, you're gonna need to have self-discipline. Okay, self-discipline and some type of self-worth. Okay, what I mean by that is you have discipline to not be drinking, not be hanging out with your friends all the time. Self-worth to know that you are worth more than just an entry-level job. Okay, you're more than just the yard guy. Okay, so that's gonna be first and foremost. My first tip on how you can become better is having self-discipline. Cut off all the friends that are not doing any good for you, and that's difficult. That's very, very difficult. It's not easy to do. You may do that by cutting off the girl that you're with. You may do that by cutting off your friends, but you definitely need to make your circle smaller, and then just think of what your goals are. Okay, once you do that, you will be able to kind of focus more on what's important to you. Okay, self-confidence. Prior to me being promoted, I've always worked hard in my jobs, but I was never given the chance. And not until I found a CEO of my company, who's the best CEO hands down, that at my call center. He is very smart. He's got multiple companies, and he's someone that I looked up to. One day he gave me the chance to prove myself, and I proved myself, and I've been proving myself ever since. So out of that chance grew something out of me. Like, I was never really good at communicating with emails or talking to other people. I was always talk with a slang because that's how I grew up. I was kind of ghetto when I was younger, but it wasn't until maybe I matured or whatever, or I was put in that position that forced me to become more professional. I've always been the worst person at spelling something. I've always been, I like to think, one of the hardest working people in any job, no matter what it is. I always give 110%. So I always do those two things. And with the spelling, that was an insecurity that I had. I wasn't able to communicate well, but through practicing, sending well-composed emails, and luckily spell check, that quickly became a way of me being able to communicate with my co-workers for the call center job, and that also translated for me to be able to communicate it with the clients, as far as writing estimates and making my estimates make sense to them, and protecting myself with my estimates, and making sure that I included everything within my estimates. So that's another whole video in itself, how to make estimates. But the 2 points I wanted to make out of that was you need self-discipline and confidence in yourself. Okay, so that's number 1. And then number 2 is always going to be time management. Okay, if you're a part-time worker, see, the thing about me, my part-time job, I love it. I love being a call center manager, and I learned a lot about it. So it's a job that I definitely make a lot of money in. So it's somewhere between the 50K range, and depending on bonus, more. It's a lot to me because it's the only job that I had that ever made as much. I don't know if I leave this job, if any other job will give me the opportunity, but I know that learning what I learned as a call center, I'm always going to try to apply if it ever happens, or if I ever need to apply for positions that are not entry level, that are more like management type of companies. But what I was talking about is, so you definitely want a time management, because if you're part-time, you're most likely being pulled 8 hours a day somewhere else, and then the rest of the time you're mowing lawns, and the rest of the time you're needing to spend with family, or if you don't really have family, you need to be doing something with that time, and don't get in the trap where you're doing something unproductive. Not having a family or a wife or kids can be a blessing or a curse. The reason I mean that is because if you are alone with no one to depend on you, it's just you, that's a time to strike. But a lot of people don't have the discipline needed to focus on what they need to focus while they have just me time or whatever. Once you have a kid, it becomes a lot more difficult, and once you have a wife, it becomes a lot more difficult. There are huge benefits to having kids and wives, don't get me wrong. I would never change my life or stop you from that, but you're being pulled in 2 other directions once you have those things established, and that is maybe the biggest con. The biggest pro is your motivation to want to do better for your wife, your family is unspeakable. That'll make you work harder and push yourself more than anything else, I believe. Okay, but if you have the discipline and you're a single guy, a single female out there, man, the sky's the limit. Take advantage now. Build a future for your kids and your wife, your future wife, or your husband, and take advantage of the moment while you have the time. Okay, so always set aside time to do things with the family. Don't work too much. Don't take on more work than you can handle, and just know what you need to do. Okay. One thing that I haven't been really good at is knowing my numbers. All right, so you definitely want to know your numbers, and you can only keep track of your finances on a notebook, every once in a while. But the more that you're able to know your numbers, like how much time you spend at a job, how much gas you spend, how much money spent on mixed oil, on equipment repair, knowing those numbers will help you out. So the sooner you understand your numbers, the more it'll help you grow as a business. Okay, and you're gonna hear everyone talk about numbers. I mean, because it's true. The world revolves around numbers, and everything is about numbers. And if you got your numbers right, you're ahead of a lot of people, believe it or not. There's a lot of people that just kind of work and that just don't take a look at the numbers, and that's where you fall short and you get stagnant. I mean, you can only wing it for so long until you can't really wing it anymore. Okay, so definitely know your numbers, and that's the advice that I'm going to take myself this upcoming year. I'm going to keep track of every single thing that I spend, keep receipts, everything. So I'm at the point where I was doing this part-time, and it's slowly growing, and up until now I haven't really been an LLC or sole proprietor, but this next coming season, I think that's one of the things I'm going to be doing. I think. Okay, so know your numbers. So just to recap: self-worth, self-discipline, time management, know your numbers. Okay, also, as a part-time person, one thing that you're gonna need to get over is, a lot of us are driving minivans or driving cars that are not intended really for lawn care. Take me for example. I ride around in a Honda Element, and I push around a 5x8 trailer. It's a little bit embarrassing, but don't let that get you down, and don't ruin your credit or take out a loan that you're going to be paying for a long time just to try to look better. Okay, don't worry about that. That's one thing that you have to get out of your head. Like, all those shiny trucks and toys, they take time. Okay, if you have a good enough full-time job that can pay for it, and your bills don't need to go anywhere else but your lawn care company, for sure invest in it and do what you need to do. But honestly, I recommend you starting with bad equipment or used equipment for a little bit, or the equipment that you have. Do that until you're able to buy your own equipment. A lot of people want to buy the shiny stuff right away, and I do too. I have good credit where I can go to any store and get approved for a lawnmower. Okay, and I make enough money where at my full-time job I'm able to pay for those monthly payments. Okay, but I don't have the work enough to be able to cover that. I mean, it may be a good idea to have that, and just in the back of my head say, well, at least I'll have it when I'm doing this full time. I'll need a commercial mower. But use what you have. Say, if you want to save up money, save all the money that you can, and then use it on the lawnmower once you have the money, if you need it. At the end of the day, really, time is money. So I really can't give you any advice. I just encourage you to kind of just be smart about everything. Don't think of how you're going to look to other people. If a customer is not going to hire you because you push a trailer with a minivan, or if you don't have a commercial mower, that's silly. Don't worry about that customer. There's so many other yards out there that you can pick up that don't care what you drive, or don't care about what mower you have. To be quite honest, not that it's like the most productive thing in the world, but I've had a lot of customers complain to me that the previous person left a lot of ruts in their yard. They mowed too fast and left the yard not looking good. So just definitely don't worry about what other people think. Okay, if you're worried that much, maybe lawn care is not for you. You know what I'm saying? Everything takes time, and when the time is right, you're gonna get your equipment. But don't go into debt, because one of the worst feelings in the world is just working for free. So if you're working just to make a payment on a mower, and it turns out that you can't use your mower because the yard has too many hills, or the gate is too small, you know, then what is the point of having the mower if it's sitting on your trailer most of the time, or if it's in your garage, you know? So that would be my advice, and hopefully it helped you out. I really hope it does. Like always, guys, keep crushing it. 2019 is going to be our year. It's going to be my year, everyone's year. So with that said, go Bears, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.